Oh, drum in there, little drummer
dance,
boy,
little drummer. Yeah, we should rewatch the Little Drummer Boy. You try to talk about how things are bad or you didn't have fun, but was anything as bad as watching season 19 of Family Guy or watching all those bad Christmas movies?
I mean, the bad Christmas movies, at least, like, stop motion, so it's like...
Yeah, but Little Drummer Boy, that's like 25 minutes of pure hell.
Little Drummer Boy, sadly, is just not very good. I don't much care for it. But, you know, if we had to watch that one 5 times, that would have been probably the worst. But we only had to watch that one once.
You're right.
So, I guess it wasn't the worst.
We watched Subspecies this week.
We watched Subspecies, yes.
And Thomas had this great idea where he's like, I'll just watch all 5 of them in one night.
Yeah.
Did you watch them at 1.5 speed?
No, I couldn't, because I couldn't find any fucking copies of them. I had to watch them all on Tubi. So I spent all fucking night and all.
And you didn't like them?
Huh?
You didn't like them?
I think I probably would have liked them more had I watched them on that speed.
Man, I liked them.
Good.
I was so happy.
I'm not gonna go out and say they're like fucking god awful or something. For full moon movies, they're fucking great. But I mean, for actual movies, they're like, eh.
I had a blast with some of them. But I did break them up.
So, yeah, no, it really just, number one is probably, I don't know if it's the slowest, but it felt the slowest. Especially since I had already seen it before, so I was just like, oh, God.
Yeah.
So having that as my jumping on point, and then, yeah, I don't know, just the momentum didn't crank up enough for me. 2 and 3 felt like the same fucking movie.
Just a long movie.
Yeah.
Well, they were filmed back-to-back, so it makes sense.
And then 4 felt, obviously, a lot cheaper. But I don't know
Holy shit, 4? Like, I guess we'll talk about it in a second. But yeah. I have things to talk about, specifically about the Vampire Journals in 4. But yeah, let's see. Did you do anything else this week?
I rewatched, because I had seen it before, but I rewatched Act 1 of Wano. Yeah. It's pretty good.
My One Piece face.
It's still, like, I think it's probably a regular pacing of One Piece, but it's got nice animation now, so it's like, oh, wow. Yeah, so I don't know. They're like, I think it does pretty decent up until you get to like the point in the story where like Luffy breaks away from like is it called Ebisu Town? Okabore Village, the leftover town.
Yeah.
Once he leaves like that segment of the story and it gets like up to like Odin's castle and like the Kaido stuff that happens towards the end of Act 1, that's where it really starts to slow down.
Oh, great.
But it doesn't feel like it's slowed down like an immense amount. It just feels like it's like, this could have been a couple episodes shorter, probably, if they had just trimmed it down some. But, yeah, so that was that and Subspecies, and then Parasite, because I also... That was last night. Or not last night, the night before last night.
All of it?
I sat down the morning before I went to work, and I read like 40 chapters throughout like the afternoon, and then I read like the last 20 when I got home that night. So yeah.
You know, Thomas, maybe you'd enjoy things more. Maybe. If you didn't just go, I have one day left.
Well, see, my issue with it is that I'm the kind of, like, when I get into something, like, if I want to, like, read a manga or something, I tend to enjoy it if I can have, like, the clear momentum, just be like, I'm going to start this and I'm going to finish it. It doesn't always necessarily have to be that way. That's just how I prefer it. So it's like, when I start reading Parasite, I want to just sit down, start reading it, and then eventually just make my way through it, you know?
Making your way downtown.
Mm-hmm. Making my way downtown. But if I read it periodically over the month, I would feel like I just got less of a cohesive experience.
Understandable, I guess.
Yeah. But I can't say the same for the Subspecies movies. I guess they all take place pretty close to each other, I guess.
You just didn't get it, maybe.
Maybe.
You didn't see the artistic merit of Ted Nicolau. But Ted Nicolau, he's a god in comparison to some of the other fucking directors that work at Full Moon.
I mean, yeah. I don't know whether I'd attribute that to him or the writing. I don't know if he does the writing.
He wrote 2 and On, I believe.
Okay.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, because 1 is real stale.
Yeah. I like 1 for different... Well, I don't like 1, but 1 has merit.
I mean, there are maybe nuggets of things I like from 1. I remember when we watched it, like, a year, 2 years ago, however. It was probably a year, because it was during the
Little Fellows.
Yes. Like, dude, those guys are great. Still great. But, yeah, I remember being really impressed by that, and that just, like, sent it to the top of, like, the Full Moon Empire list for me, nearly. I was just like, that's enough. That's all I need.
I'm a Full Moon addict, I think.
I don't want to say I am.
There's something just so addicting about watching Full Moon movies. Even if you're bored out of your mind, you're like, I should watch another one.
I don't have
It's like a drug, but there's no point that it makes you feel good.
Yeah. I don't know if I have quite the same compulsion that you do to watch Full Moon.
Well, I've seen some that I like, though.
I mean...
I think that we're legitimately good.
I don't know if I'd say that. But...
Oh, we watch Reanimator. That's close enough to being Full Moon.
Yeah, that's Empire, isn't it?
Yeah, which is just that's just proto Full Moon.
I view Empire as like...
It's still Charles Band.
It's Charles Band, but it's Charles Band when he had to try some.
Yeah. I watched...
And even then, he only produced that movie.
Yeah. I watched Batman The Long Halloween Part 2 came out. Really solid. I really liked it. I really liked it just a little less than the first part, but they're both like really solid. I started reading The Long Halloween last night. I really like the art style of it. I was going to probably just read it all, but then I'm like, it's like 4 a.m. I should just go to bed, so I'll maybe just read it today. I'm not sure. Because it's only like 13 issues. Like, I got through like one of the like 13 parts or whatever.
Yeah.
What else did I watch? Snake Eyes, the G.I. Joe movie.
Oh, yeah?
Garbage.
I'd imagine so.
Oh, God, I had TikTok open.
I'm really not a fan of anything G.I. Joe I have ever seen. But I honestly haven't gone out of my way to watch much. But honestly...
No, that's fair.
I don't think I want to.
The Troll Hunters movie came out, which is the end, the culmination of the 3 shows and like 5 years of media. I really liked it. People really don't like the ending of it, but I do. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Win some, lose some.
I watched the new M. Night Shyamalan.
The
old. I liked it. Fine. Like, it's not anything substantial. It's like half really great ideas and half really bad ideas. Yeah, and execution of some ideas. But in general, I enjoyed it enough. It was fine. I'll probably forget about it. But Alex Wolff is in it, and he goes fucking crazy in it. He's like screaming, and it's good. And yeah. Yeah, mostly just been playing some board games and chilling, working a lot, you know. Moon Knight's out. Moon Knight's really fucking good. This Moon Knight, real good. And Blue and Gold's out. They're back. This is also pretty good.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah. 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 You want to just jump in?
Sure.
Let's talk about it. Subspecies. I'm just going to say it. Radu is like the best thing Full Moon's ever come up with.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. Radu himself, like, while as a whole, I'm not walking away from these movies with the most positive things to say. Radu, I get it. I totally get it. He works.
Anders Hove or whatever, however you pronounce his name, he's fucking brilliant as Radu.
Yeah.
Like, it's cheesy at times and corny, but like it matches Full Moon's energy really well. And there are parts that I'm like, well, that's legitimately like a creepy performance or something. Like he does it. He works really hard.
Yeah, I think in the first installment it was particularly awkward, but definitely like
second and third, I would say, is definitely, and then like 4. So I'm just gonna I think the Vampire Journals, while like I don't think that movie's good, I think it probably looks the most like a movie out of all of these. Like it looks good at times. 4 looks fucking garbage.
Yeah, 4
looks so bad.
4, it feels like they really just got like bamboozled by the budget.
Yeah.
Because it really doesn't take place in a whole lot of locations. Like a lot of the movie takes place in like a singular like room or like they've got like a couple places they'll go to, but it's nothing expansive. And yeah, like it seems like the most expensive thing about that movie would have been like Radu's makeup.
Yeah, which I go back and forth on number 4 because it looks worse. But it also, in a sense, looks better because at this point he's died like 4 times and he looks like he's falling apart and the makeup looks like it's falling apart. So I'm like, I'm fine with this. Like, I don't know if this was intentional or not, but this is fine.
Yeah.
But let's talk about 1.
Yes.
Subspecies number 1. They go to a castle. Oh, fuck, there's a vampire inside. There's an old vampire who lives peacefully with the villagers. His name is King Vladislav. Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. His bitch-ass son, Radu, shows up.
His firstborn, who's basically like,
came from a witch.
I've inherited the right to
this
the
is my
Bloodstone.
blood right.
And he's like,
This is my blood right.
he's like, fuck you, Radu, you evil piece of shit.
Here's a cage.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, I'm gonna...
Well, ever notice how I have an extra joint on my finger? It's so I can break it off.
Yeah.
Now there's a little man, and the little man will free me.
Yeah. I like... Because he does... King does nothing to stop Radu. He's just like, what? He's gonna break off his fingers? They're gonna grow into little people? I'm gonna watch them open the cage?
What am I gonna do?
He's gonna walk up to me with a knife and just... I'm gonna let him stab me.
Well, he's so old, the only action he could do was, like, he pulled it, and then after that he's like, oh, I'm so tired. Can't fucking do anything.
Right. He's like, I need to go suck on that Bloodstone. But the Bloodstone is a baby bottle pop. And it's got the blood of saints in it. And it says that those who feed off of it, I don't really know what the fucking consistency of the lore or the rules is.
It's supposed to keep you, like, young and youthful without, like, having to feast upon humans.
Oh, okay.
But then, like, if you're not cool enough, it'll make you go insane with power, I guess.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, it seems like most people who are after the Bloodstone just ate humans anyway, so I didn't really feel like I got the complete impression of, like, what it was supposed to be.
It's like
other than they would drop
It's like, hey, I got Bloodstone, look at me, I'm cooler than you.
Yeah, like, I almost thought it was, like, implying there for a little bit, like, the one who drinks from the Bloodstone doesn't necessarily have to, like, feed again or something, because it's, like, the blood of saints or whatever, and it's like, oh, maybe it's got some miraculous effect, but no, it's nothing like that. It's just a big magic Bloodstone that's a plot device for basically these movies to have something going on. But, yeah, so Radu, basically, he gets the Bloodstone, and then a couple foreign exchange students from America show up.
A trio of women who are writing their dissertations on old people, apparently.
Yeah, and it's based in Romania, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that they were all shot there. But, yeah, so that's where they are. One of them tries to break into, like, Radu's castle, which has been closed off.
And he scratches her on the inside. Yeah. And then she dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, throughout that, they pretty much, one gets captured and, you know. But then, there's his brother, the pure blood vamp, or I guess he's not, it's him in a... So, Radu came from the king of vampires and a witch and...
I guess...
What's his fucking name?
Dude, I honestly don't fucking remember. Good boy.
And the other one, the brother vampire, came from, like, just a human woman and a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so he pretends to be human.
Yeah, a zoologist.
And, yeah, he ends up quite smitten with the final girl of this movie, and, yeah. Oh. And... basic shit happens.
Yeah, literally pretty basic shit. But you go to like a carnival, but they start getting picked off, and then Michelle's taken by Radu, and then brother saves her, and they kill Radu.
But only after Radu had already bitten her. But she needs to drink the brother's lifeblood to basically prevent her from becoming like just Radu's puppet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what she does, and the movie ends.
Sure.
And then part 2 picks up immediately after, but we'll get into that.
So, yeah, this was my second time. I actually liked this movie a little more on my second watch. I don't know. I think some of my problems the first time around, I was maybe just in a bad mood that day. I don't know. But this was fine to me. Like, I think Radu really carries it. Like, I think his performance is weaker than in 2 and 3. I think 2 and 3, he really, like, understands what he wants to do with the character a little more.
Yeah.
But in this one, he's still, like, really fun to watch. They have the fun little puppets. I think that some of the characters are really, really bad. Like, badly written. They're just really boring. Specifically, the 2. I think Michelle is a fine protagonist. I think she's fine. Like, for a full moon movie, she's exceptional.
Yeah.
But for a regular movie, she's whatever. She's a little more interesting than her other 2 friends who are just horrible. I do not like them at all.
Yeah.
And then the like brother vampire is like super cliche and he's really boring. However, I think the actor that portrays him is pretty decent. Like, he's really trying.
I looked at him and I was like, this is just some white guy from the 90s and I don't care.
Yeah, but he's trying.
I don't mean that necessarily in, like, the worst way possible. It's just, he's just one of those, like, everyman types where it's like,
Yeah, no, I get it. But I remember, I don't know, for the character he's playing, I feel like he's trying hard.
I feel that. I feel like I might have a similar sentiment with a movie we cover here.
Vampire Journals?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I feel it.
I probably feel the same about the lead of that movie that you feel.
I like that lead. Specifically because he's trying so hard. Mm-hmm. And I really like the ending sentence of that movie. Like,
yeah.
The only thing for certain is you'll never be able to see the sunrise or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good ending.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. But in general, I think this movie's, like, pretty good. And I think it might have just been because I watched all of them now, but I really fucking like the main theme of, like, Subspecies. I think it's a pretty classic full moon. Mm-hmm. It's not Richard Band, but it sounds like him.
All right.
But I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm just getting addicted to full moon, but I've kind of come around on a lot of the music for full moon. I'm like, this is fun.
I mean, that's fair.
But in general, like, I think this movie's fine. Like, for a full moon movie, exceptional. For a regular movie, it's okay.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like, I mean, realistically, I don't think it's really moved up or down since the first time I watched it. But I think I walked away liking it less. It's not as, because, like, before today, I was like, always like, fuck yeah, Subspecies. Great full moon movie. And I'm still like that, but it's like,
That's like a great full moon movie.
Yeah.
What does that fucking
now that
mean?
not in a month where I binged 40 of them right before.
Well, see, maybe it's because we just fucking watched Family Guy. That I'm
maybe.
Like, yo, Subspecies fucking rock!
And I made the mistake of reading Parasite in between Family Guy and Subspecies, so I raised my quality bar before jumping into it. I also watched One Piece too, so. But yeah,
Charles Band should make the One Piece movie.
I don't think Oda would ever let that man touch One Piece. Piece.
Oda probably loves Subspecies.
Probably. He's like, I need to make that a character in One Piece.
Yeah. I do think there's a significant dip in pacing in this movie when they go to, like, the fucking festival or whatever. I think that whole, like, 20 minutes is fucking all long as hell, but...
Dude, I thought the first 20 minutes of this movie were fucking long, too.
Yeah, but... whatever.
Especially since, like, the way that they cut it is, like, you start with, like, Radu in the castle, and then you get some scenes with, like, the girls, and then it cuts back to Radu, and he hasn't, like, progressed at all. He's still at the point in which we last left him, and it's like been like 12 minutes since then, and I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? But I don't know, it just feels like odd pacing.
Yeah, but it's a full moon movie.
Whoa.
Are you gonna give this one a 4 again?
Mm-hmm. A 5.
5. It went up slightly for me, but went down slightly for you. Perfect.
Oh, I thought I gave this.
No, you did. You did give it a 4.
Oh, okay.
You said you just enjoyed it slightly less.
I see.
Subspecies II. This rules.
Psycho, but full moon vampire.
Or no, it's not called Subspecies II.
It's called Bloodstone.
This is my biggest problem with 4. Although 4 sucks by itself, but it's subspecies. It's Bloodstone Subspecies II. It's Bloodlust Subspecies III, and then it's Subspecies IV Bloodstorm. The titles before no, we're not fucking switching back. Illegal. I'm gonna go get water.
Okay.
We can talk about Subspecies.
Yeah, so like I said, this movie is kind of like Psycho, but a full moon vampire movie. So it picks up right where the last one left off, except it's basically Radu immediately like comes up, kills his brother while he's sleeping in the crypt. Hey, Allie, what are you doing? Kills his brother while he's sleeping in the crypt. He's about to kill Michelle, too. But she wakes up, and I guess, like, the sun comes out or something, and Radu gets scared away back down to his, like, cellar where he hides. And, yeah. So she wakes up slightly earlier than he does. When she wakes back up, steals the Bloodstone and runs away. But he basically chases her down. And yeah, there's a scene where she goes and she stays in a hotel. And she, like, is found dead in the bathtub, which is, like, the kind of, like, Psycho parallel that I was getting at. And then we spend the majority of the rest of the movie following her sister and some man candy along with her sister as they investigate what happened to her. So that's where the Psycho parallel is coming. I don't know if you heard any of that.
No.
Okay.
I got you. I agree.
But yeah, aside from that...
Psycho.
But aside from that, yeah, it's basically just continuing the shenanigans. Like, the sisters, like, will come out every so often. She's, like, staying inside of a store somewhere. It looks like a fucking store that just has a coffin on display. But she'll come out in the night. She'll, like, go to this, like, fucking, like, underground punk bar. And she'll fucking kill some people sometimes. Because she's a vampire now. And Radu's basically like, I need the Bloodstone. You've got the Bloodstone. And he's chasing her. And we meet his witch mom. She's cool.
Her.
Yeah,
I love her.
She's probably, like effects-wise, the best out of, like, these movies.
Yeah.
For
no,
sure.
I think that the effects in this and 3, just because they're, like, filmed parallel, that they look pretty similar. I think both of them are, like, legit pretty good for being, like, budgets. Mm-hmm. Like, wow. They did a good job. Like,
yeah, I'd agree.
I really like the teleportation effect that they just use, like, with the shadows in this. They ruin it in 4. Yeah.
But yeah, so basically, Michelle's sister, whose name I don't remember. Becky and her boy. I don't remember his name either. But Becky and her boy.
What's his name?
He's like CIA, isn't he? Or something like that?
No, his buddy's CIA.
Okay.
I think he works for, like, the American Embassy or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so basically...
Or he's just hanging out.
He was investigating her sister's, like, hotel bathtub death at the beginning.
It's Mel.
Mel. What a memorable name. Anyway, so they... Yeah. it just leads to basically them going and facing off with Radu again, trying to save the sister. Honestly, I've got I want to pull what happened in this movie, but then my brain just keeps jumping ahead to 3 because I'm like, then his CIA friend shows up. I'm like, no, that's the next one.
What?
What the fuck happens at the end of 2? I don't remember because we've got
3. He dies by fire.
Yeah.
2. He dies. How does he die in 2? I really like this movie. I remember really liking it, but I watched 5 of these movies. So
fair.
And they do feel pretty similar.
They do.
So I say I'm just gonna fucking check real quick.
Do they just stab him in the heart? Is that what happens? Because I remember they have the old priest guy with them, and he gets stabbed.
Yeah, he gets stabbed, and she stabs him in the heart.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what happens, and then
I'm watching it happen. And he's like, what the fuck? I thought you were my baby. Oh, because this is the one, I feel like this is the one where they had pretty deep discussions where there was somewhat a romance subplot where not really, but she was more leaning in towards it. And they have some pretty interesting conversations in this. I remember being really interested because I'm like, wow, this isn't something I would expect from a full moon movie at the very least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where he's talking about how, once she checks off all the, checklist boxes that basically she'll abandon her, mortal feelings and... Yeah, shit like that.
This is something that, it happens a lot through... Because she's a vampire now, or at least very close to it, and this happens a lot through 2 through 4, and I like this continual thing of, she really, really does not want to eat people, and every time she does, she's, horrified, and she's like, no, I don't want to be a vampire.
Fair.
It's cliche, it happens a lot in vampire stories, but, it's I think it's pretty well done. They switched the role for Michelle in this one, and moving forward, it's the same lady.
Yeah.
And although I don't think, the first one was bad, I think she's pretty, the replacement's pretty good.
Yeah. No, I'd agree.
Good for any movie. Incredible for a full moon.
Incredible for a full moon movie, certainly. And I'm not gonna...
serviceable.
I'm not gonna, get negative or anything. I think she's fine.
Yeah. I enjoyed watching her. I'm like, wow. Yeah. She's doing it. And Radu's, spectacular in 2 and 3.
Oh, yeah.
I loved him in 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. Especially the interesting interactions he has with his mother.
Oh, yeah. Those are always fun.
Yeah, because we see a lot more of him as a person. Because in 1, he's kind of just this evil entity, which works well enough for 1. Mm-hmm. But now that he's a character in 2 and 3. Because he's with Michelle. And I really like the priest guy in 2. He's an interesting little side character. The arm candy guy doesn't really do anything, but he's whatever.
Yeah.
All the characters, at least in 2, aren't as they're abysmal characters in 1. In 2, I'm fine with everyone pretty much.
Yeah, it feels like they're less going... they're cliches, but there's such, zero cliches in, 2 that it's, it doesn't really,
it doesn't negatively impact me, at least.
Yeah, it does. It's not quite as obvious as some of the stuff that they're going for in 1 with, the character archetypes. Because it is such kind of, a blank slate. You can just kind of be all right, this is just a person doing their thing.
Yeah. Which I'm I'm fine with. There would just be one guy just doing his thing.
Yeah.
He's just I'm just gonna come.
And is Mel even involved in the climax of 2, or... I don't think he is, because I think...
No, he doesn't believe her. He, legit doesn't believe her.
Yeah, he's
that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, he's I'm sorry.
So the priest goes with her, and then he dies, and then he's with Lieutenant Marin, or whatever, who's...
Yeah, he's
an interesting enough character. He's kind of fun. He should have been played by Rowan Atkinson. He should have been played by Mr. Bean.
I mean, yeah. I'm sure there's a long list of people who should have been in these movies.
I should have been. Nicolas Cage should have been Radu. Just kidding.
I mean, I think...
I like the guy. Yeah, I really like
Nicolas Cage should have been Mel.
Nicolas Cage should have been Michelle.
The CIA guy.
He just shows up.
Hey, what's up? I'm gonna scale this wall.
Yeah, so 2. I really like 2.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it.
I like 2 enough. It worked. I think a lot of this movie... I think the first 2/3 of this movie are pretty fucking slow. It's a lot of just the sister being in a location, and it's just like...
Yeah, but I liked enough of the stuff in it to be fine with it. I think the pacing in these movies are pretty slow, but 2 and 3, I'm fine with the pacing because I'm interested in the stuff. There was some interesting characterization of Radu in the first 2 like sections of this movie, so I get where you're coming from, but I enjoyed the slower pacing.
Yeah, no, but yeah. We give this one a 6.
I'm just gonna. I'm gonna give it a 7 though.
A 7?
Yeah, I don't think. Oh no! One day I will find a full moon movie. Hopefully, that I'll give a 9. Maybe it might. Maybe
I don't think it's in there.
I'll see an Empire movie that I'll give a 9. How about that?
That might
Maybe.
be more likely, but even then, I'd say
Ginger Dead Man 3. I'm gonna give a 9.
Ginger Dead Man 3 is probably the best Ginger Dead Man movie, maybe. It's weird, but it's got that going.
That's
for it.
Saturday Night Cleaver, right?
Yes. It's the one where he goes back in time to a 70s roller rink. Or skating rink, whatever you fucking call this place.
That guy, the guy who directed that, William Butler, he made a movie, I think this year for Full Moon, called like Miskatonic. The Resonator, Miskatonic U. William Butler. And apparently it's like not bad, and he's doing Baby Oopsie next.
They're making a Baby Oopsie movie? Oh, fuck. It's going to be awful, I bet. But I'm going to watch it.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
I'm just basing off
I've been looking at the
every
tweets
other
from
Demonic
Full-
Toys movie other than Demonic Toys 1.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Versus stuff, but Demonic Toys 2 is rough. I can't even remember Demonic Toys 2, except the pain of it. I remember I like the insert, like I like the puppet design of the new one. Like the ancient one or whatever, but...
I wasn't super crazy about it.
Like, I liked it enough. I'm like, yeah, I like puppets. I'm like, it's fun.
Fair.
But, oh yeah, you give this a 5, by the way.
Bloodburst.
Bloodlust. Bloodburst. Bustin'. Bloodlust. Subspecies 3. More of the same. Radu, he's back. He's looking pretty fine. He's decided that he's gonna get Michelle back.
What? Yeah.
So he kidnaps Michelle, and they decide they need to go get him.
She was technically left in the castle at the end of the last movie.
Oh yeah, you're right. She was left at and they're like, "Oh, I'll wait right here," and then the mummy comes back. And she's like, "Ha ha ha!"
Yep.
And she's like, "Oh fuck! I can't fight this old woman. She's the mummy."
Right. But yeah, so basically, it's just picking up where last left off. You know, Becky's like, "I gotta get Michelle out of that castle," and Mel's like, "All right, I believe you this time because I need to be in this one." So he shows up, and yeah, they go to the castle. The one guy's there.
Marine's like, there's a murder. Your sister stole the artifact.
Yep. And then a CIA guy shows up. He scales a wall with Mel, and then
They pull him up. They're like, "Don't worry, we got Radu." And then they go in, and then the fucking mom just throws a knife in his head.
yeah, we know him for 5 minutes, if that.
It's like the guy in Spy Kids 3.
He says hello to everybody once, climbs the wall, and gets knifed in the fucking skull.
And then Mel gets knocked out. He doesn't die.
Yeah, he becomes a damsel in distress,
Yeah.
which I like.
He dies in the beginning of 4.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But, so yeah, basically, sister has to, come in. I forget how she fucking gets in. She gets in the castle somehow, though. And,
I don't remember how she gets in either. But she gets in.
yeah. And she kills Radu.
Together they kill Radu.
And the one guy dies partway through the film.
Yeah, Marin. Yeah. But not really. He just comes back and forth. Somehow he got turned. And I'm like, but he didn't get bitten. I mean, I guess...
I think he got bit and stabbed. Because I think he had stabbed him and then he sucked the blood out of him or whatever. But,
4's a fucking mess.
Yeah, 4 is a fucking mess. We can both agree on that one. But yeah. I really don't have much to say about this one. It's just kind of more 2.
Yeah, it's more 2. I like 2. I don't like this one as much, but there are fun. I really like the scene where they're walking into the castle and Mel just has a big axe and the other guy just has a fucking machine gun. Like, it's a really funny visual to me. And, like, I like the interior. I really like the set pieces in pretty much 1 through 3. Like, I like the castle interior. I like the cave system they're in. All of these are, like, well done enough for, like, budget filmmaking. Mm-hmm. Radu looks good. The mom looks good. Radu fucking kills her in this movie. Because he's like, I need to be with her. She's like, she's fucking using you, bro. And he's like, but I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they fucking kill Radu. But do they? Then Radu fucking comes back again.
Yeah. They don't...
He doesn't even come back how they say he's gonna come back in 3 either. Like, the end of 3, he dies. He's, like, fucking impaled on a tree, burning. And then his body turns to goop and he starts turning into the little guys. And then in 4, they're just like, no, he's just burnt and he's fine now. Yeah. He just goes to bed.
They probably didn't have the budget for the little guys in 4.
That movie had like a budget of like $4.
Yes, it really
it's like, and I'm like, how much money did they spend on the vampire journals? Because that looks like a real movie.
Also, I imagine, did Subspecies 4 come out before Vampire Journals?
No.
Oh, okay. Is it meant to be a prequel to Vampire Journals? I don't know what the fuck was going on there. Because it shows events in the opening credits from Vampire.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think it's just like...
And, I mean, they die, but I guess vampires don't die.
I guess maybe you could say that Radu's lineage is really, really strong and can just, can come back. Because they do, in 4, they say that Ash was from Radu. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, maybe that... But he fucking gets obliterated in the Vampire Journal.
Yeah. And
unless you're going to say, oh, yeah, well, he disappeared a little too quickly. Maybe he, maybe he teleported away.
We watched him turn to ash.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe that was, like, stuff he left in his pockets.
I mean, it's common for vampire movies. Like, that shit happened in, like, the old Hammer Dragon.
Yeah, but they didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they would go through, like, hoops, like, he turns to ash in one film, but they would, like, go to the extent to be like, all right, we're going to drop blood on his ashes.
I mean, in this movie.
Oh, in this
4. They just don't fuck. Yes. 4, they just don't care anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, it's very much just like, we're going to just fucking make more.
Yeah. But 3, I think, is good. I would say it's the last good... subspecies film. Until 5 comes out.
Yeah. Well,
that's gonna rock my fucking world.
That one's gonna be interesting.
That's gonna be the 9.
He's open. So I sliced my fucking finger open at work this week.
How?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I it's hard to talk about 1 through 3, especially 2 and 3, because 2 and 3 are like the same movie. It's just a part 1, part 2, pretty much.
Yeah. It's like Halloween 1 and 2, but with less differentiation in the setting.
Yeah, but there's a guy with a gun in this one. There wasn't a guy with a gun with the second one.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I guess you would also give this one a 5?
Yeah. Yeah. You would give this one a 6.
12. Yeah, 6. Yeah. After 3, I was like, I'm fucking having the time of my life. I'm enjoying full moon movies.
Hey.
And then I watched Vampire Journal right afterward. And I don't actually... I was like looking at reviews for this and they're like, this is such a fucking step down from Subspecies. I'm like, I do think this movie is... the weakest of the 4 so far.
I would say the only, like, major thing that holds this back compared to, like, Subspecies is the fact that it doesn't have the kind of like over the top charisma that you get from Radu.
Yeah.
Aside from that, it's pretty much.
I actually I do like the vampire in this though, like Ash, the villain. I think I really don't like him in 4. I think he's really boring in 4. But in this one, like I think he's fine. Like he's
got a bit of a presence to him.
He has presence. It's a whole different type of presence, but it's more of like a mysterious, like cloaked in the shadows presence instead of just like I'm evil.
Yeah.
And I think that the good vampire in this, in comparison to the first one, is like leagues better as a character.
Agreed.
And he has like a lot of charisma, and I think I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but I'm like, wow, man, you're doing a great job.
Right? It's like, man, you could if this movie didn't come out in the fucking 90s and no one saw it, you could have gone places.
It could have been The Matrix, bro.
I mean, he might have been in other stuff.
I'm gonna check.
But
he's probably in other full moon movies, unfortunately.
But yeah, basically the plot of this movie is that there is a vampire who is a vampire hunter, and he comes across a pianist who has become the target of basically what do they call him? Like a bloodline vampire? Like basically like a head vampire who will act as a lifeline for other vampires. Like he lets them drink their blood and gain like some of his power, but they become like servants to him. And basically he's just like, yo, I'm running an establishment here. I want my people to be loyal to me. And then, yeah, basically this vampire hunter shows up and is like, I want that pianist that you got. And he's like, no, I like her. I'm going to keep her. And then, yeah, more or less, they make an escape for it. There's other plot lines going on. Like, he's got, like, his main base is, like, in this nightclub that's owned by, like, a human lady. And she thinks she's got a bit of a power dynamic with him. So she's always... like she's like butting heads with him.
Fuck you, and she's just like a regular lady, and she's like, "Fuck you, I don't give a shit that you're a vampire."
Yeah, so I liked her character quite a bit.
Like there are really, I just think this one has really bad pacing. Like this is when the pacing really started to hit me. This and the 4th one.
Honestly, it didn't hit me much here.
Wow. Okay.
I was pretty invested in this one.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So
maybe it's just because that was a big change of pace. Like for
maybe
it's like maybe you needed a break from Radu.
Possibly.
And maybe that's why it didn't work for me. I'm like, where's Radu? I want Radu.
See, I missed Radu, but I felt like the other characters had enough to level out where I wasn't just solely banking all of it on just one character's screen time.
We should get David Gunn on the podcast. That's the guy who played Zachary, the good vampire. He was in like 2 other things. He's 49 years old now.
I'll email him and hopefully he won't want me to buy him gift cards.
I just, like, what is he up to? I want to know what... I'm like, you were the best part about the vampire journals, David Gunn. You were. I want you to know that.
I agree.
I'm so proud of you.
We can honestly probably try and find him and do like a Discord.
How fucking old was he when he was in this thing? Because this was 97?
Like late 20s, early 30s.
He was 25. He was like a year and a half older than I am right now. We gotta be in a full moon movie. This is making me feel... Okay, we gotta call up Charles Band. Charles Band, let me be in a full moon movie. I will be a vampire. Look at me go. I am the son of Radu. There you go. I can be the son of Radu. Easy peasy. Or watch this. I am a good vampire.
What's the guy who directed all these?
Ted Nicolau. What are you up to, my man?
Ted Nicolau. Subspecies 6. You got...
Let me be. He made Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys. But we'll forget about that one. Because you also made the...
It's got Corey Feldman in it.
Yeah, he made a movie called Bad Channels. And he made Terror Vision. I've heard Terror Vision's good.
I've heard people say that. I haven't watched Bad Channels, but Bad Channels was involved in the Dollman Puppet Master movie. Or Dollman Demonic Toys movie. What? Yeah, it was Demonic Toys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie was awesome, right? Incredible.
About the same level of quality that Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys was. Not good.
Not good.
But better than 2.
Man, I need to watch more full moon movies. Oh man, I'm fucking in.
Oh god. Anyway, so Vampire Journals, yeah, basically, eventually he finds the pianist woman. I don't remember her character's name. She's in like 15 minutes of the movie max. But basically,
Sophia.
He finds Sophia, and then he makes a deal with Ash at one point where he's like, Ash is like, you're going to leave town. I'm going to take you. I'm going to get you fed. And I'll allow you to see Sophia once, and then you got to leave. So basically,
he's like, look, it's her.
Yeah, brings her in the middle of him feeding on this, like, woman. He's like, it's there. I kept my end of the bargain. He's like, dude, what the fuck? Not cool. Meanwhile, Sophia's fucking traumatized. And then he goes and converts her into a full vampire. But yeah. Then they kill Ash, and he's got like this like protege that's working under him, who I think is meant to be the same character from 4.
I believe so, yeah. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm pretty sure it is supposed to be the same character, but the Doctor in 4 is the same guy who played Dimitri.
And
I'm like,
that.
I'm pretty sure that is just supposed to be Dimitri, because it's like, yeah, I used to be like,
yeah.
I'm like,
so I imagine this probably has to take place after 4 then. That's the only somewhat feasible explanation.
No, I feel like it would have to take place before.
That's what I was saying. Did I say it?
You said after.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. No, that seems like the most likely scenario, that they made 4 afterwards and were like, let's just make this a prequel.
Let's make 4 a prequel?
Yeah, to the Vampire Journals.
No, I'm saying that I think 4 does take place after the Vampire Journals.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
We're just confusing each other. Got it.
Okay, anyway. But yes. Vampire Journals. It's a movie.
It's not terrible. I enjoyed part of it. It's probably my least favorite out of the 4 up until now. But I didn't hate almost any of these movies.
I don't think I'd go as far as to say I hated any of them.
You'd give this one a 5 again.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. This is pretty good for Full Moon. You're on a roll. 5.
Yeah, like...
Is this top of your list?
Well, I haven't added them to the list yet, but when I do, they're gonna go pretty close to the top. You would give this one a 5 or a 6?
No, I'd actually give this one a 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about the bad one. Subspecies 4, Bloodstorm.
Bloodstorm, yes.
Looks like garbage.
Yeah, the budget's real low.
I really don't like the story on this one. I guess it has ideas, but don't like the execution of it.
It looks like this is...
They really just fucking shit on the pre-established characters. They're like, what if they die in a car crash? Just for no reason, too. Like, why did they get in a car crash?
They probably couldn't get the actors to return, so they're like, we need to...
But they're there. That's like literally them laying on the ground there.
Wait, were those the actual actors? They didn't show their faces.
It showed Mel's, at least his side. And I'm like, that looks like Mel.
Yeah, but Mel's a white.
He's a white guy. I could have been Mel.
Honestly, like, if they cut your hair and just, like, put you...
I do not look that much like Mel.
Yeah, but, I mean...
Yeah, but who's gonna fucking notice? It's a Full Moon movie that looks like garbage.
Right? Because this is clearly from, like, 3 was made at the point where they were still, like, making movies on film, and then this looks like the point in which Full Moon went full video.
What's so weird is, like, Vampire Journals looks good, and that does look like film.
Yeah.
And this is the next year. So this is, like, the first jump, and I'm like, God damn it.
I wonder if there was just something going on where maybe he was like, I want to make more subspecies, and they're like, make a different vampire movie first. And if that does well, we'll give you a big budget for...
I guess Vampire Journals didn't do... I don't know.
I don't know. I imagine it probably didn't.
It has a cool cover. I'd probably buy it if it was on VHS.
Mm. But
I don't. Maybe it's not a cool cover, but this is like if I was a child and I walked into a VHS store and it was just something. It was just like a book with a vampire. I'd be like, I want to know what that is.
I probably would have checked out the back. Yeah, basically, plot of this movie.
Radu is back.
Radu is back. Michelle survives a car crash that kills all the rest of the characters from the other movies we've been following. But
Lieutenant Marin's back.
Marin, yeah, he survives. He's
back for like 10 minutes, and then they kill him off. I'm like, why even bring him back?
So he can give that one line of exposition, and so that they can have a memorable face, but also some fodder to kill.
Apparently.
But yeah, I guess, basically, so Michelle's taken to the hospital because there is a doctor who comes across the car crash and is like, what the fuck is there a body bag doing at this car crash? Opens it up.
And then she's like, because there's light.
Sunlight. So she takes her to the hospital that's nearby. It's like a monastery kind of place.
Yeah, it used to be an old monastery. We changed it to an institution to help the living.
Yep. And Dimitri's there. I don't know if the character's name is Dimitri.
His name's like Eon. Eon Noclestu or something like that.
And he's a doctor, but he's also a vampire.
And he's also a scientist.
Yes.
Pretending to be a doctor.
Yes.
The number one concern is our research.
Oh, no. But yeah, basically he wants to know about the Bloodstone. Oh, no, not the Bloodstone.
The Bloodstone.
And he realizes that Michelle drank from it, so he's going to do some experiments to see if it altered her DNA. But then, oh no, Radu shows up and he's like, I want my fucking...
woman!
What's the term that they use for him?
Fledgling.
I want my fucking fledgling back. And then he's like, well... we're not going to invite you in. He's like, well, fuck.
What if I give you some drops of this blood? And he's like, oh, fuck, you right. And he lets him in. And then they got flashlights.
Yeah, flashlights and holy water. And it's like, I get doing that. I would have saved that for, like, at the point in which he would have broken in eventually.
How would he do that?
I don't know. But why would you let him in?
It was a trick. It was a trap.
It was a trap to get him and invite him inside this area that if you didn't invite him into, he wouldn't have been able to go into at all.
Yeah, but they wanted to kill him. And then he's like, we're just going to leave him until the day. I'm like, why?
Yeah. He's like, we have two ways. There's the way where we could cut off his head, which would honestly be too good for him. And it's like, well, if he's dead, I don't know. Whatever finishes the job.
I don't know, my man. I saw how Ash died in Vampire Journals. He just fucking instantly obliterated.
Yeah, I hate how inconsistent that is in these movies, too. Because some of them will be like, oh no,
God is so powerful.
And then some of them are like, I'm out in the, like,
well,
fucking
I'm fine with
detective.
Michelle and Marin, because that was like, maybe they weren't full vampires yet. Like, they're still, I'm like, that's fine, I guess. But specifically, like, Radu, end of 3, like, burning and turning to, like, goop. And then Ash just instantly poofing away.
But, yeah, basically, so Michelle... as they're about to kill Radu, and Michelle senses it, and she's like, no, I can't let you kill my master. It's some sort of vampiric instinct within her. So she saves him in exchange for her freedom, but then she goes and she starts killing people. So Radu's like, I could basically like make it so you don't have to do that. You just have to, become my fucking fledgling again. So she's like, all right, fine, I'll become your fucking fledgling. And yeah.
It's the legendary what? Timber!
Anyway, so basically the nurse is like, I'm not gonna let that happen. Also, this other vampire who's Ash's protege, who is kind of upset because basically there's a point where Radu comes to Ash's territory and he's like, I'm your master. I'm going to take this spot that you've built up, and I'm going to take it for myself. I'm also going to spend the night with your protege. And the protege is, like, super into it. She's like, let's go fucking hunt. Ash is a fucking wimp. He doesn't like hunting. And he's like, fuck you. Go back to your master.
And she's like, well, now I'm going to murder you.
Yeah, now I'm going to murder you and steal the Bloodstone. So I guess vampires are unable to murder Radu. It has to be immortal. So yeah, that just leaves.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily vampires, but it's technically from Radu's lineage. Like, she's technically
I see.
his granddaughter.
Yeah, but basically, they're like, we need someone to kill Radu, so they pick the doctor who saved Michelle from the beginning, and she's like, why don't you have one of these security guards or something do it? He's like, I'm a brain surgeon, not a vampire hunter. She's a fucking doctor. She's not a vampire hunter either. I don't see the logic there, but whatever. So she goes and she attempts it, but it doesn't work, and Roddy's gonna fuck her up. But then Michelle's like, no!
No! And he's like, I'm your master. And she's like, not anymore!
And yeah, doesn't fucking not Dimitri show up again and fucking attack him? Or do I not remember?
I thought he went... Did he just die?
I don't remember what the fuck happened to his character. I remember he like betrays them when they get there for the Bloodstone.
I have no idea what he fucking does. He kind of just fucks off. He might have died. I don't know. 4 was really wearing on me by the end of it.
But yeah, that's basically 4. It ends with fucking Radu's head on a fucking spike outside.
Ash and his protege like try to get Michelle and the doctor right at the end, but then the old lady groundskeeper hears them and unlocks the door, and they're like, ah! And then they're like, quick! And they get a coffin to grab Michelle out. Mm-hmm. And then the movie ends.
Yay!
Yeah, no, this one I really did not enjoy.
Yeah, I think they honestly could have left it on 3, and it would have been like a solid, like, hey, this was a solid
And they could have
trilogy.
just had like the Vampire Journals 2 or something.
Yeah.
That would have been an interesting like continuation of like the vampire lore of like, oh, this is just, we had the bad vampire, and now we have a trilogy about the good vampire, like hunting people and stuff. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, and I'm sad that Vampire Journals guy didn't show up.
Yeah, like Ash shows up for whatever fucking reason.
I guess if it happens before, despite what the fucking opening credits might lead you to believe.
But I'm pretty sure it happens after. I have no.
Or, I mean, Vampire Journals did before, not this. But so if Vampire Journals happens before, I guess it makes sense that that character wouldn't be in this movie. I guess.
Yeah, no, and I think it does, but that wouldn't make sense why Ash would be in this movie. Because he dies. But he doesn't. Yeah. It's just... 4's not my subspecies. I'll just say it now. I'm just kidding.
4 shouldn't be anybody's subspecies.
But I was like reading reviews that were like, despite what you guys say, this is my favorite subspecies. I'm like, what the fuck?
I mean, I feel the same way about like Wishmaster 4, which a lot of people are like, that's like the fucking
we gotta watch the Wishmaster movies.
At some point. But with because it's like Wishmaster, it's such a fucking weird fucking premise, and it's 4 is basically like, well, what if we just fucking acknowledge how strange this premise is and just take it all the fucking way?
Take it all the fucking way.
But, yeah, well, Wishmasters. We can save that for a different day. Anyway, so yeah, we watched 5 Full Moon Vampires.
You're gonna give this one a 4.
No.
A 2.
Mm-hmm. You're going to give this one a 9. This is funny. You're gonna give this one...
Yeah, that review I was talking about is my favorite. That's me.
Like a 3?
Yeah, I'd give this one a 3. I didn't dislike it as much as you, but... Yeah, not my subspecies. Ted Nicolau, bring us back!
Yeah, hopefully Subspecies 5 is more of that 2 and 3 quality as opposed to that 4 quality. Hell, I'd even take 1 quality over 4. But
I'd take any of the other movies.
We'll see. I'm sure it's going to be that modern, new brand of awful that Full Moon has. Or maybe it won't.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen any of...
Well, I mean, like...
Another stuff. He did another movie this year called Don't Let Her In. It's apparently okay. It's for Full Moon, I think. It's just not, like, streaming anywhere, and I don't really want to buy a DVD of it.
That's fair. Because you're not going to find any illegal copies of that one either. Probably, because no one wants to watch Full Moon movies.
Everyone does.
Oh, you're right.
We love Full Moon in this house. I'm going to get a full moon tattoo.
We're probably like
Their biggest...
some of their biggest fans. I mean, I don't want to say that. I'm sure
I know people on Letterboxd that I've talked to that have like, yeah, I've seen like 90 full moon movies. And I'm like, I'm so sorry.
I mean, I don't know about you. I'm definitely working my way that direction.
Yeah, you also watched a ton of them on like 1.5 speed.
Oh, boo.
I'm watching them as God intended. Not at all. Yeah, so... Overall, though, I really enjoyed Subspecies.
I thought...
You would have enjoyed it a little more if you didn't watch them back to back, probably.
Possibly.
Probably. I never recommend watching more than 2 full moon movies at a time.
Yeah, no, that's probably best for anyone's mental health.
So is it my pick?
I don't know. Do we normally revert back after deep dives, or do we... What's our usual...
I have no idea. We've had, like, weird schedules, so...
If you want to pick, go ahead.
I guess I'm going to roll real quick.
Probably a good call.
It was close. It was a 6.
Oh, no.
I'm really on an 80s horror kick now, though.
Okay.
Even though none of these movies were made in the 80s. But full moon movies, you just kind of go back 10 years, and that's kind of what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to watch Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. Have you heard of that movie?
No.
Okay. And we're going to watch The House on Sorority Row.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen that one?
I haven't seen that one. I've heard of that one, though.
Yeah, let's do those 2.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm in a kick. I was going to pick Parasite, like the anime, but I'm like, nah, fuck it. I want to watch more like 80s horror. And 80s horror that I've never fucking heard of. Well, I've heard of The House on Sorority Row.
Yeah, that one's got a pretty decent cult following. I haven't heard of a Betty Butcher Bicker Butter.
Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. Good name.
Yeah. You'll definitely need to send me that one, or else I'm just going to be looking up like Butcher Baby Booper Bopper.
You remember, I do put all of the movies watch on Screen Weens in a list.
There have been weeks where I've gone in and been like, all right, what are we watching again? I'm like, oh, fuck, you didn't update it.
Don't worry, I updated it.
Okay, cool.
All right. But yeah, thanks for watching. It's hot. We're going to take a 15-minute break and then go record another podcast. Bye, everybody.